The global market fluctuated sharply in this year. We have seen this in the stock market, fixed income, and also the commodity market. Your company has done a lot of research in the PE and VC market. Have you seen the same trend in this market?
Yes, that's an interesting question because, as you say, we've certainly seen a great deal of market volatility globally. And I think that this has particularly hit technology stocks. I mean, we obviously know what's happening in Ukraine, which is impacting sentiment. We've also seen higher interest rate expectations at the start of the year, and that started to actually materialize as well with the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. And of course, we're expecting further hikes going forward as well. So the global stock market is going through a process of repricing a lot of assets, and that's particularly affecting technology stocks. Now, of course, for the private side, if we look at private equity and venture capital, these companies have a larger degree of exposure to technology. So eventually we would expect that new reality to be reflected in private markets as well.
In China, your company has seen a substantial increase in the total amount of US dollar funds raised. What is the reason for this change?
That's absolutely right. And that's really reflective of the fact that we do still have quite robust international investor appetite for Chinese private equity and venture capital. And relatively speaking, RMB fundraising has come down. So I think overall, if you look at the structure of the market, the RMB AUM, assets under management for the entire private equity and venture capital market, will continue to be RMB denominated. But we'll see, I think, a healthy contribution from USD funds as well going forward.
And what other trends do you expect will happen in the Chinese PE/VC market?
I think as well, a trend that we're seeing globally, but also in China, is that there's an increased participation of retail and high net worth investors into the market. I think in the longer term as well, in global markets, it's typically the larger buyout strategies, leveraged buyout strategies that make up a large portion of the total AUM. However, in China, buyout funds are still a comparatively small portion of the total.
Do you think this is a good time for investors to get into this market?
I think it certainly is an interesting time for investors, and particularly in China. As I said, there are some macro headwinds that are affecting China, as they're affecting the global market as well at the moment. But I think patient investors looking for opportunities will find interesting ones in the present time. And it's worth noting as well that the sell-off in Chinese technology stocks happened a lot earlier than what we saw in the US. So in many respects, we could be a lot closer to the end of the cycle there.